Now remember when we talked about extension functions, we basically mentioned the fact that you can take a type like a string or an int or a character and you can add it additional functions. Well, guess what? You can do exactly the same thing with lambdas, and this is done through something called a receiver object. So essentially a function literal can be called with the receiver objects, and then you can call various methods on the receiver. So for example, I can define something like a function called increase by, which is going to be called on an int. So it's a function, let's put a fun in here, and it's going to be called on an int. So we have int dot, and then we're going to increase it by some value, which is also an int. And we'll say that the result is this plus value. So what's happening here? Well, this is kind of similar to the syntax we had for extension functions, except that now it's a function literal, so it's something that's being stored in a value here, and it's not being defined somewhere on the top level, and it's not persistent across the different function calls. So we have this temporary lambda, and what we can now do is we can actually define some value of x, like let's say var x equals 1, and then we can print line that x plus 3, for example, is equal to, and then instead of calling the function, you'll notice that we have the name here. So instead of calling the function like increase by and providing it the two values, what we do instead is we say x dot. So we say x dot increase by 3. All right, let's run this. Let's see what we get. All right, so 1 plus 3 equals 4. Doing great with basic arithmetic here.